What's up, guys? Today we're going to be looking at area of a regular polygon. So a regular polygon is convex, so it doesn't cave in. All sides are congruent, which means they're all the same size, and all the angles are congruent. So 60, 60, 60, equilateral, and all the sides are the same. 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, all the sides are the same. This is a pentagon. 108 degrees. You need to remember how they get that. N minus 2 times 180 divided by n. N is the number of sides. So let's get into how do you find the area of a polygon. Because you can't always do length times width. That's just for squares and rectangles. It is 1/2 times a little a times a big P. Big P is the perimeter. That just means you add all the sides together. The little a is the apothem. The what? Apothem. That's brand new. Let's get into what that means. The apothem. The segment that extends from the center and is perpendicular. Right here, see? Center down makes 90 degrees. That's what perpendicular means. The apothem is also the perpendicular distance from the center. The apothem bisects a side of a polygon, which means that this side here is equal to this side. So it makes 90 degrees and it cuts two sides in half. The radius is a segment that extends from the center to a vertex. So it goes from the center to a corner. Not always the right corner, it can be the left corner, it doesn't matter. The radius the distance from the center of the polygon, from the vertex of the polygon, and it also bisects an angle, which is here. See, all of these are 108. See, the radius is coming down here. It cuts it in half. It cuts 108 by 2, and it makes each of them 54. So that's special. So we need to know cuts it in half, 90 degrees, that's the apothem, and the radius cuts the angle in half. Now we're going to have to use SOHCAHTOA. So make sure your calculator is in degrees. Here's an example. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided figure. So a pentagon. The perimeter just means to add all the sides. There's 5 sides and each of them are 3.1. You multiply and you get 15.5. That was easy. Now the area. Area is 1/2 times the A times the P. 1/2 is 1/2. The A is the apothem. Here's the apothem. It makes 90 degrees and it cuts this in half. The apothem is 2.1. So times 2.1 times the perimeter, which we just found, 15.5. So we multiply 1/2 times 2.1 times 15.5. And that gives us 16.275. Let's try another one. The perimeter There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sides. So we have an octagon. 8 times 6.3 is 50.4. Now the area, 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. Well, 1/2 is 1/2. The apothem is right here. 90 degrees, cuts that in half. 7.6 times the perimeter, which is 50.4. So we multiply 1/2 times 7.6 times 50.4, and that gives us 191.54. Now, so far all of these have been easy because they give us the apothem. When they don't give you the apothem, that's when it gets fun. I know there's a number 2 right here, but we're not going to do it. Your work is number 3, so you do this, bring it back tomorrow, we'll go over it in class. Here's a question I made up. I would write this down somewhere. It wants us to find the apothem, the perimeter, and the area. I would find the perimeter first. That's the easiest. There's 3 sides and each of them are 15. That makes 45. Then I would go after the apothem. So this is the apothem. We don't know it, so we have to figure it out. So all of these are 15. Now we get the apothem, cuts it in half. So then 15 divided by 2. That gives us 7.5. And now, each of these angles are the same. We have a triangle, that means 180 degrees. So 180 divided by 3, which means that each of these is 60. But don't forget that over here, it gets cut in half, so it means this is 30. And the apothem makes 90 degrees. So let me draw that triangle again. This is 30. This is our x, the apothem, 7.5. Now we need to use trig. This is the opposite, this is the adjacent. OA, that means tan, toa. So, tangent of 30 degrees over 1 equals the O has to go first, which is x, over 7.5. And we multiply these two, make sure your calculator is in degrees, and it gives us 4.33. So this is 4.33. That is the apothem. Now we can go and finally work on the area. Area is 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. 1/2 times the apothem, which we just got to be 4.33, times the perimeter, which is 45. So we multiply these 3 numbers, we get 97.425. There we go. Now, another one for practice would be, let me get it, hold on, would be this one. I would try this one on your own. This one's going to be a little bit different, but I still want you to try it on your own. Try to find the perimeter and everything, and bring it tomorrow, we'll go over it. So we have 2 questions to go over. Use this example here to help you do this number 2.